Okay, let's unpack this. What if the biggest technological leap forward isn't what we expect? And it's happening, like, right around the corner.
That's a hook? What are we talking about?
Today, we're diving into a concept our source calls Resurrection 2027.
Resurrection 2027. Okay.
Yeah, it's this predicted confluence of events leading to a pretty radical mind-to-machine interface. An MMI.
Right, M&I. Heard of those concepts?
But this one's supposedly poised to profoundly reshape, well, everything. Our understanding of tech, ourselves, our society.
Okay, so that's the topic. What's our mission here? What do you want the listener to get out of this deep dive?
Right, so the mission for you listening is to really extract the key predictions from the source, get into the underlying science, which is pretty unconventional, we should say.
Definitely unconventional.
And grasp the immense social ramifications of this, well, speculative future. We want you to come away informed, maybe a little intrigued.
Probably more than a little.
Yeah, probably. And definitely ready to think about a future that's maybe way more complex than, the current headlines suggest.
And it's worth mentioning the source itself.
Right.
Because it's different.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Well, what's particularly interesting here is the unique nature of our source.
Yeah.
We're drawing from a speaker named Clif High.
Right, Clif High.
And he presents things as more of a mesh of ideas rather than, traditional cited research. There aren't footnotes everywhere.
No, definitely not. He sort of gives keywords, encourages you to look things up yourself.
Exactly. Connect the dots, drawing from ancient texts, current observations. It's an approach that, unconventional, kind of invites a deeper, maybe more personal way of thinking about it.
Yeah, you have to engage with it directly. So, according to this source, here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
This isn't just looking forward, it's also about looking way back. Clif High talks about being part of this old farts group, his words.
Okay. An old farts group.
Yeah, basically a bunch of retired expats who decided to translate various obscure ancient languages using AI.
Wow, that's ambitious.
Right. Not academics, mostly just bored, smart people with a knack for language. Interestingly, he mentions many were pursuing Russian citizenship, which is a whole other tangent, maybe.
Okay. So they're translating ancient texts. What were they looking for? MMI.
Not initially, no. Their first interest was apparently Vimmani.
Ah, the flying machines from Hindu texts.
Exactly. Those descriptions of flying castles used in battles. At first they thought, okay, maybe ancient humans built UFOs.
A common interpretation, sure.
But as they got deeper into the translations, their understanding kind of shifted. They started thinking the tech described wasn't human invented. Meaning it was brought here or, just not originally from our species.
Okay, that point's pretty critical. It totally reframes how we think about tech advancement.
How so?
Well, it suggests that maybe some really sophisticated technology wasn't purely a human invention, but something introduced.
Yeah.
Like a gift or an import.
Right.
Which raises big questions.
Right.
If early complex tech wasn't ours, what does that imply about innovation even now? Are we just rediscovering things?
Exactly. And building on that, their research then zeroed in on this core finding. It kept popping up.
Which was?
Consistent references across different ancient hymns and sayings to what they could only describe as mind-to-machine interface devices.
Wow. So MMI showing up in ancient texts, who was using them?
According to the texts, as they interpreted them, these devices were used by beings identified as the Anunnaki or the Elohim.
Figures often seen as gods. Or sometimes, the ancient astronaut theory links them to aliens.
Right. And these beings were supposedly putting humans into these machines as pilots.
Okay, humans as pilots, but not smoothly.
Not at all. One of the really startling claims is this burnout effect.
Burnout.
Yeah. The accounts apparently showed that human pilots only lasted about 9 to 18 months.
That's incredibly short.
It emphasizes how draining this direct mind link was. It wasn't sustainable, apparently. There's even this anecdote he shares from an ancient hymn, describes a village being wiped out by the Elohim.
Why?
Not for land or resources, but specifically to eliminate certain DNA. Or, maybe more accurately, a specific mental capability linked to that DNA in certain people.
Whoa. Okay, that underscores some serious, almost terrifying implications, even back then, targeting specific minds.
Right. It's heavy stuff.
And that ancient burnout. It's not just a weird historical note, is it? It feels like a huge warning sign.
That hearing.
It suggests that these interfaces, while powerful, might have this inherent bioenergetic cost. a fundamental limit we could easily overlook today.
The biological cost.
Yeah, and the genetic targeting thing. It implies a much deeper biological connection or entanglement that we usually think about with technology. It's not just software.
That's a really crucial point. So if these ancient stories have even a shred of truth, what lessons are there about the burnout, for instance?
Well, it forces us to ask if we're considering those potential biological or energetic costs in our MMI development. Are we just focused on the digital side?
Which brings us to now. If ancient humans face this burnout, what makes this predicted resurrection 2027 different? How does it supposedly get past that?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Our source claims that what's coming, it's going to make current brainship ideas, like Elon Musk's Neuralink, totally obsolete.
Obsolete. That's a bold claim.
He calls it leapfrogging current neurotech. And the key difference, this new MMI is based on an analog system, not digital.
Analog versus digital.
Yeah, the source is pretty explicit that digital approaches are off. They block subtlety.
Subtlety.
Right. For a real deep interaction between a mind and a machine, you apparently need the minute delta, the really fine-grained nuances, the tiny fluctuations.
Which a digital ones and zeros system might just smooth over or miss entirely.
Exactly. Can't capture the analog nature of thought, perhaps.
And that emphasis on analog, it's compelling because it suggests interacting with our biology on a more fundamental level, right?
How so?
Instead of just converting brain signals to digital code, an analog approach implies more of a resonant connection, like tuning into the subtle electrical currents already running our bodies.
Like a harmony instead of a translation?
Sort of, yeah.
Uh-huh.
It shifts the whole paradigm. Maybe that's the key to avoiding the old burnout and unlocking something deeper.
Okay, so what's the science? What's the bedrock for this supposed leap? Our source points to Ampere's law.
Ampere's law, okay,
Yeah.
relates to electricity and magnetism, but how specifically?
He mentions a specific kind of subtle corollary of it. Can you unpack that? How's it different from basic magnets repelling?
Sure. So André-Marie Ampere, early 19th century physicist, incredibly insightful about electricity. We usually think, yeah, like poles repel, north repels north.
Right. Basic physics.
But with electromagnets, under certain conditions, Ampere observes something different. When you have currents moving in the same direction in two electromagnets close together, they don't just repel or attract in the simple way. They exhibit something called entrainment.
Entrainment, like synchronizing.
Exactly. It's a deep sympathetic alignment of their electromagnetic fields. The repulsive force gets, well, the source says it's redirected 90 degrees, making it seem to disappear. They effectively glom together without resistance.
Whoa. Okay, so the currents align and the repulsion vanishes sideways.
That's the idea. And this entrainment, this super subtle, precise interaction of electrical fields, is supposedly fundamental to how the human mind, with its own delicate bioelectricity, interfaces with these new devices.
That is a fascinating twist on a classic law. Okay, so this entrainment happens. How does that become a physical connection? Mind to machine.
Right. The physical interface is key. The prediction is that the receiving pad, the part you interact with, will be crystalline in nature.
Crystalline, like the ancient texts mentioning special crystals.
Exactly, that connection is drawn. These specific crystals, apparently vibrating at extremely high speeds, become sensitive enough to entrain with the very delicate vibrations of our brain's electricity.
So the crystal picks up the brain waves through entrainment. Then what?
Then that connection gets amplified somehow and interacts with circulating melanin in the body.
Melanin, like skin pigment.
Specifically, the source points to melanin originating from the pineal gland.
Pineal gland melanin, interacting with vibrating crystals entrained with brainwaves. Okay. This is definitely bridging ancient ideas with some far-out tech concepts.
It is. It suggests a much more holistic interface, doesn't it? Bioelectricity, specific crystals, even specific neurochemicals like melanin. It's not just a chip talking to neurons.
No, it really isn't. Okay, so let's bring it to the timeline. What does this all mean for us, like, soon?
Right, the Resurrection 2027 part.
Yeah. The source predicts we'll see hints of this MMI in early 2027 with a rollout by June 2027.
That's incredibly soon. Next couple of years.
Exactly. And it's not pitched as just a new gadget. It's called a resurrection of humanity, expected to trigger a massive economic and industrial revolution.
How so? What changes?
Manufacturing, for one, totally transformed. A single person using MMI could mentally manage, coordinate like hundreds of robots.
Mentally managing robots.
Yeah. Bypassing current software limits, collision issues, the problem of digital systems dealing with the inexactitude of matter in the real world. Imagine one mind orchestrating a whole factory floor.
The level of precision and speed would be unprecedented.
Right. And it goes beyond just robots. It might even change our need for AI as we currently think of it.
Replacing AI.
Potentially redefining it. Because humans could directly access huge databases, like at the speed of thought.
Speed of thought access.
Yeah, just place your hands on these pads and the information is just there, mentally. Faster than typing, faster than searching.
Okay, the implications of that are enormous.
Hugely. It's predicted this will fundamentally revalue human brains, propel smart, talented people, not necessarily college-educated, but those with the right kind of mind for this way up the socioeconomic ladder.
So innate talent for this interface becomes the new currency.
Pretty much. Expect new skills, new industries, even totally new kinds of games and entertainment based on this direct mental interaction.
This isn't just an economic shift, then. It's deeply societal.
Yeah.
Redefining human value almost overnight.
Exactly.
That immediate revaluation, moving past traditional education metrics, that suggests a very rapid and disruptive shift in who holds power, who has influence.
Yeah.
Within a few years, the whole structure of work, education, social status,
it
could all be fundamentally different. New hierarchies based on essentially mental prowess with these devices.
You're right. And while that potential is immense, it's not going to be easy.
No, I imagine not.
The source warns the full absorption phase for humanity could take 50-plus years.
50 years, okay.
And the first 5 years, starting around 2027, are predicted to be the roughest.
Roughest how? What kind of chaos are we talking?
We're talking this rapid integration could destroy governments, collapse economic systems, just totally disrupt the social order, vast amounts of chaos.
Destroy governments.
Yeah.
Collapse economies.
Yeah. It's even predicted to destroy lots of religions.
Why religions?
Because direct experience with these new realities, potentially, including the hyperspace stuff we'll get to, might fundamentally challenge established beliefs and doctrines.
Okay, so massive societal upheaval. What about on the personal level for the users?
Big adaptations needed there, too. Users will require strong emotional control.
Emotional control, not thought control.
Right. Command over the emotional state linked to thoughts, because apparently that directly affects the melanin interaction with the device. It's a biofeedback loop involving emotion.
Fascinating. So volatile emotions could mess up the connection.
Seems like it. Undisciplined minds are considered at risk for maladaptation or, worse.
Which implies our whole education system is wrong for this.
According to the source, yeah. The school system will need to be completely redone to train minds differently, focus on mental discipline, emotional intelligence, that kind of thing.
Wow. A total pedagogical shift needed, basically overnight.
And don't expect it to work perfectly at first. There will be early successes, sure, but they'll be followed by puzzling crash and burns among users.
People just failing or breaking down.
The source suggests it's more nuanced. These aren't bugs in the system. They're an integral part of the learning process. They reflect a flawed understanding at a very subtle level that we as a species will have to figure out.
That really hammers home the scale of change, doesn't it? It's not just tech, it's psychology, sociology, the focus on emotional control, redoing schools.
Yeah.
It suggests we're talking about fundamentally restructuring human consciousness to cope with an expanded reality.
Yeah.
And those initial crash and burns, they feel like a really harsh teacher, showing us the immense personal and collective work needed to navigate this safely. It's evolution, basically, but on fast forward.
Exactly. Now, buckle up for maybe the most startling consequence predicted.
Oh, there's more. Okay.
Beyond the physical, beyond the societal.
Yeah.
The source claims these MMI devices, because they interact directly with consciousness, will accidentally bump some users into what's called hyperspace, or the bardo.
Hyperspace. Like in science fiction, or?
Not quite physical travel. It's delineated as a state within consciousness itself, described as an actual separating space between life and death, a liminal state.
A state of consciousness between life and death.
Yeah.
Accessed via technology. Okay, that's profound.
And apparently in this hyperspace, you're not alone.
Oh, company.
Users are predicted to encounter something called the bug.
The bug? What is that?
Well, according to the source, this entity has actually been reported before by psychedelic users, psilocybin, mescaline. People have apparently drawn sketches of it.
Okay. What's it like? Friendly bug?
Not so much. Characterized as annoying, authoritarian, dominating, imperial.
It's uncharming.
Yeah, and apparently it fucks with humans all the time, interferes constantly.
Interferes how?
The source doesn't detail how, just that it's a constant meddler. Visually, it's often projected or perceived as a chunky praying mantis.
A chunky
Yeah.
praying mantis, that's
Oh,
specific.
an authoritarian.
I know, right? A chunky praying mantis that messes with humanity. You got to admit, it's not your typical AI risk scenario.
No, it is definitely not. So encounters with this bug are going to happen.
Predicted, yeah. And these encounters will apparently divert a whole lot of the development of the MMI tech itself.
Divert it how? Towards what?
Into this intriguing area, dealing with hyperspace, dealing with this entity. It might even become a kind of new arms race, but focused on consciousness and these other dimensions.
Okay, this is truly captivating because it suggests the tech is a bridge. Not just mind to machine,
but mind to other realms.
potentially, to other planes of consciousness, maybe other entities. It just shatters our standard definition of reality, doesn't it?
And it circles back to that need for emotional control. Maybe that's the key to navigating these encounters safely.
Could be.
The implications.
Yeah.
Accidentally accessing hyperspace, meeting weird entities through tech. It could redefine science, spirituality, philosophy, everything. Makes you realize reality might be way more porous than we think.
Yeah. So despite all this, the initial chaos, the weird bug encounters, the path forward, according to the source, is actually one of incredibly rapid development.
Rapid. Even with all those problems.
Apparently, yes, because it's analog technology. Unlike digital, which kind of plods along with writing code, refining algorithms.
Right, iterative.
Analog tech, based more on direct conceptual understanding and physical principles, can supposedly develop in leaps, big jumps forward.
Faster innovation cycles.
Much faster. So after that initial rough 5 years, the prediction is the tech becomes very practical. You'll have mind-controlled factories, maybe using some form of AI directed by human minds via MMI,
Okay.
mass-producing these devices at incredible speed.
So scaling up quickly after the initial hurdles.
That's the idea. And this, the source argues, this is the true resurrection of humanity, getting us out of what they see as our current limitations, the shithole of current AI directions and clumsy tech.
A resurrection enabled by analog mind machines and emotionally disciplined humans.
That seems to be the core of it. So yeah, this deep dive has been quite a ride, hasn't it?
A lot to process.
We've gone from ancient flying castles and burnout pilots
To Ampere's law and vibrating crystals.
to mind-controlled robots, societal collapse, emotional control.
Some key praying mantises in hyperspace.
Yeah, it's a vision of, well, immense complexity, total unpredictability, but also this radical promise of human augmentation, a resurrection.
It really challenges you to think differently about, well, everything. Technology, consciousness, reality itself.
Absolutely. So as we wrap up, here's something for you to think about. As we potentially face this future, where our minds link directly with machines and maybe, just maybe, with dimensions beyond our current grasp, what mental skills, what emotional skills will you personally need to cultivate? Not just to get by or survive, but to actually thrive in this potentially resurrected world.
That's the question, isn't it? What does it take to be ready for that?
Something to ponder. Think about that until our next deep dive.